So, we've done the breathing warm-up, and I've shown you the sun salutation warm-up. Remember, in the sun salutation warm-up, the areas that we pause and warm up are holding this position, looking up, taking a spot on the ceiling, the back bend, the forward fold, plank position, using Sphinx pose, and Cobra, and Dog pose. So after we've gone through 7 or between 5 and 10 sun salutations, I can hear the breathing of the room. There's a fair level of intensity. Then we go into the sun salutations and start breaking away into some other poses, which I'll now demonstrate as if I was teaching the class. And breathing in, slight back bend, forward fold, inhale looking up. Exhale, just the right foot back, knee to the ground. Hands at your knee, and finding that strength in your back. If you're comfortable there, hands to your chest, namaste position, arms out, up, and if possible, looking up, holding for 5 breaths, and coming down. And then I would continue through that sun salutation cycle. And one thing I should mention at this point is the length of holding the different exercises. So in the sun salutation, we're cycling through 1 breath per movement. When I get into the other poses, the standing poses, in general, I like to hold them about 30 seconds, which is the recommended stretch time for muscle. I call it 5 breaths. I just ask the people to continue to breathe deeply. I gauge it on my own breathing and cycle through the poses as demonstrated. Breathing in, slight back bend, forward fold, inhale looking up, stepping back just the right foot, dropping to the knee, and the knee that's up, bring the opposite arm and shoulder over, stacking the elbows, and breathing deeply. And then moving to the other side, both feet back into plank. And same thing on this side. And then stepping back, just right foot, knee off the ground. So going into lunge pose, same thing. If they want to support the back or here, up. Also focusing on straightening that back leg, and or adding the warrior 1 or warrior 2 position leg. So I prefer just my foot. You might want to take them on the side. So I go through those 2 sides, then bring them up for the following poses. So then bringing the class up to the splits, and here we're getting into some hip opening, toes pointing in slightly, and grasping the hands behind the back. So working on opening up those shoulders, and coming forward, holding this pose. And then also with knees slightly bent, holding this squat position. And then to challenge the class a little bit, at this point, what I often do is have them use a prop if necessary, drop into squat position, Opening up the sacrum, having them fold their hands, push their adductor muscles on the thighs in, then arms, and working on crane pose, coming up to their toe tips, and as they get more confidence, coming up from there. And giving the class 2 or 3 minutes to experiment with it, going around working with each person. And I explained that one of the reasons we hold the plank position so often is to develop strength in the arms for the arm balances. So, tipping forward, hands strong, up on the toes, and once you're up on your tiptoes, coming off and sinking into the squat. And coming up, and let's do triangle pose. Front foot straight out, back foot 45-degree angle, turning the hips towards the front of the room, extending the arms, reaching out, keeping your arms parallel. When you're as far as you can go, dropping down, arm up. Trying to rotate the upper hip back and the lower hip down and under. Looking up towards the extended hand. I also like to do this pose with them against the wall so they can self-adjust. And coming up on the inhale, and other side. One of the ideas behind the workout as I've set it up is that it's a full body program. So in the course of these exercises, they're going through all their major muscle groups. That makes sure that everybody gets something that they need that day. So usually from triangle, then I go into warrior, back foot facing straight ahead, knee over the ankle, arms extended, and picking a drishti or visual focal point, tip of the finger, holding their gaze, and then switching sides. Also, the other variation of warrior, moving their hands, moving their hips forward, so getting both those rotations, the rotation you get in triangle and the forward rotation.